The Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous Peoples Affairs may not be the most visible entity, but it is arguably the most important. As its name states, it is responsible for the development and well-being of each individual and the family unit, and it is the ministry that is called to action when things go drastically wrong. CEO Tanya Santos, appointed recently as part of the new team at the ministry, explained that it was important to identify priority areas to deal with right away, and one of those areas was the Princess Royal Youth Hostel. The hostel, located at mile 21 on the George Price Highway, has been in the news frequently, and rarely in a positive light. Several years ago, 3 female residents burned to death there, and the facility has been the scene of riots, controversy, chaos, and multiple escapes. But the new administration has hit the ground running.
We have started to, clean off the compound. We've identified the infrastructural challenges. One of the first things we saw was the bathrooms in which the residents at the hostel were using. We're already starting with the repairs of those. We are looking at. They also have issue with water. Apparently, it's an issue that has been happening over years where pumps fail and all of that. And so the last time we were there, the boys were bathing out of buckets, essentially. We've brought in an engineer who has looked at the entire system and has made recommendations on how to improve that.
Santos says that despite the dire economic times, they were able to source funding through the Ministry of Finance for the infrastructural improvements to the building. But there is much more planned, with a view to the rehabilitation rather than the incarceration of the residents.
We want to have better, stronger programs that will help them to rehabilitate, for lack of a better word, that will help them to change the mindset as much as possible so that when they return out, they are better able to cope with the changes out there that they're going back to. We want to have more programs that will involve more education, maybe some skills training, some personal development, life skills as well. And where the plan is to get somebody in there to formalize all of that in a strong curriculum for the residents.
Another area of immediate priority was the food assistance program which was in place. There was the need for urgent attention, with a view to depoliticizing the initiative and directing it to those who need the help the most.
We had found that there were people on that list who were receiving food who did not need it. And in some instances, there were households that were receiving more than one who did not even deserve to have one basket of food. And what that does is it shortchanges those who are actually in need. Those who actually need were not many who actually qualified and could have benefited better from it did not get.
That discovery led to an immediate assessment and restructuring. Santos said that the ministry had to be creative, but discontinuing the program was never an option. And where there is a political will, there is always a way.
Well, in the last 2 weeks, we have actually managed to issue about 10,000 food packages throughout the country. If you haven't received in your area and you've been called already, it's probably because we just haven't rolled it out because it's a staggered process. And this will continue up to the end of the financial year, but the intention is that in the new financial year, we will continue the program.
Particularly in these perilous economic times, that news will be welcomed by many. And there's more. Just 100 days in office, the government of Belize has also rolled out a cash assistance initiative called BCCT, the Belize COVID Cash Transfer Program.
It is a program that provides cash assistance to eligible households in Belize throughout the country. And households will be paid, those who qualify will be paid every 2 months, roughly about $300. Just a little something to help you get by in these trying times. It gives a level of comfort to know that we are shifting focus to those who are mostly suffering out there, who are suffering the most, and who are feeling the brunt of it. Even though we have limited reach that we can achieve right now, It is a process that will continue. It is support that will continue in whatever form it takes.